Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Jacob, and today I am talking to you about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was killed on Friday, November 22nd, 1963. He was riding in a motorcade through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. This is a very sad day for all the citizens of the United States. Right away, people assumed the assassination was caused by Lee Harvey Oswald. He was killed by Jack Ruby before he went in any sort of trial. Some people still think that it could have been either the Mafia, Castro, the Soviets, the CIA. Nobody really truly knows who killed him. But everybody pointed all the evidence they found to Lee Harvey Oswald. Citizens now call Dallas the city of hate due to the situation. JFK's early life. Kennedy's family is full of successful people. He had 8 brothers and sisters, and right here I have a picture of his family. She goes this right here. Take a good look at it. Yeah. On CNN.com it says, Kennedy attended Choate boarding school in Connecticut, where he was popular and played a variety of sports. His grandfather was the mayor of Boston. His father did make a ton of money in the stock market, the entertainment, and other businesses. Kennedy was a very privileged child, and on millercenter.org it states, Kennedy later claimed that his only experience of the Great Depression came from what he read in books while attending Harvard University. So he obviously had a very good education and a very good childhood, so he didn't have to deal with all the craziness happening in the world at that time. In 1938, Kennedy's father was appointed by Franklin D. Roosevelt to the key post of the ambassador to the United Kingdom. So that was a very big accomplishment for his father, and his father was a very successful man, and that probably got him to where he was later in life. His military service. So Kennedy graduated from Harvard University and was enlisted into the U.S. Navy due to his ill health. His father ended up getting into the middle of that situation, and Kennedy ended up being switched to being admitted to serve in the South Pacific, working with boats. Mark J. Silverstone states that Kennedy was commanding a small motor torpedo boat, or a PT boat. Kennedy and his crew participated in the campaign to wrest thousands of islands from Japanese control. One day their boat did get attacked, and Kennedy led 10 of the crew survivors for a 3-mile swim to get close to land. Since Kennedy was a very successful military man, he earned a U.S. Navy and Marine Corps Medal for Valor and a Purple Heart Award for saving so many lives. The war ended in 1945, but Kennedy was a great man for serving his country before getting into politics. Now, the start of his career, or the start of his political career. He was first a reporter for a newspaper company, and that took him very far. He started representing the U.S. Congress in a working-class Boston district. So from going from a newspaper reporter to representing U.S. Congress, that is a big deal. He was then, after that, a House of Representative member for 3 years, which earned him a spot as basically a conservative Democrat. After that, in 1952, John got to be a U.S. Senator. Kennedy ended up running for president in 1960 against Richard Nixon. The 2 candidates ended up participating in the first presidential debate on live TV. These 2 candidates or Kennedy, who won the election, was sworn into office on January 20th, 1961. The Kennedys ended up moving into the White House with their 2 children named John and Caroline. The assassination. Kennedy was arriving in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 1963. On archives.gov it states, to seek support for new frontier policies and with an eye on the 1964 elections, President John F. Kennedy set out on what was planned as a 2-day, 5-city tour of Texas. So he was going to Texas for a tour of Texas, and he was just planning for the next elections. And obviously he was going to do a a city visit. So he was going to go into a car and say hello to all the citizens of Dallas. And probably people from all around the United States came to see him, because if he didn't come to their city, they came to his. The morning of the assassination, Kennedy spoke to a group of people in downtown Fort Worth parking lot. After that, he went to breakfast in the ballroom of the adjacent Hotel Texas. These events were so important because they were the events before Kennedy was assassinated. People probably wonder, what was he doing after? What was he doing right before? These were the events that took place. The president went into a Lincoln limousine for the campaign visit. So that's the car that he was going in. Hundreds of thousands of people surrounded everywhere around Dealey Plaza to see the president's appearance in Dallas. I wasn't around during the time the assassination took place, so I really don't know what it really looked like, but there are videos all around the internet that I've seen on how there was people in every corner of Dealey Plaza waiting to say hi to the president. As the motorcade made the turn past the Texas School Book Depository, the shots were fired, and the president's driver rushed to the Parkland Memorial Hospital with the top down. After being shot in the neck and the head, John F. Kennedy was pronounced dead at Parkland Memorial Hospital at 1 p.m. Now, here are the killers, Oswald and Ruby. Lee Harvey Oswald was supposedly the assassin of Kennedy. On Britannica.com it says, Earl Warren investigated from November 29th, 1963 to September 24th, 1964, and concluded that Oswald alone had fired the shots killing Kennedy. There was no evidence that either Oswald or Ruby had been a part of any conspiracy. So everybody thought that they were part of the government had involved something in this whole situation, but this investigator, Earl Warren, says otherwise. There were 3 shots fired by Oswald from a 6th floor window of the southeast corner of the Texas School Book Depository. So now today, the whole 6th floor is a museum where the rifle that was used to kill Kennedy is stored there as well. And there's just the whole 6th floor is a museum, and the actual room that was the room that the fires took place is never touched. That room is forbidden to go in. So you can also, there's other tours you can take in Dallas about the assassination. For example, on a YouTube video, there's supposedly a trolley that you could take, and someone will speak to you about all the events that happened that day and how Jack Ruby got involved, how Oswald got involved, and etc. They also have an X marks the spot on the exact spot where the shots were fired in the middle of the street. So there's a white X placed there. There's also a plaque in Dallas about the assassination and everything. There are so many bits and pieces of the assassination all around Dallas that you can tour, and around Dealey Plaza as well. 2 days after the assassination, so November 24th, 1963, Oswald was killed by Jack Ruby in the basement of the Dallas police station. Some people think he was a hero, but he did commit first-degree murder. So there's 2 different sides, there's 2 different opinions on that and what he did. JFK's assassination will always be remembered as one of America's most important days. John F. Kennedy once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." Thank you, and have a great day.